All right. Hello and welcome. Just a family. This is giving you something to talk about, or just a live TV, as I like to call it. My name is Melissa Krechler. I am your host. I'm also an identity coach, spiritual teacher, and newly, as of today, a business mentor. And today, my partner is my co host. So, this is really exciting. And today, we're going to be talking about what it's like to be a woman in business, multi passionate entrepreneurs, the struggle of mothers and wives, and just having all these things that we like to focus on. So that's our topic today. We are sponsoring this episode together through TNM Business Mentors. That is our new company. We focus on helping busy moms who are not happy, or busy women. It doesn't have to be specifically moms, but busy women who are trying to make their business work, who maybe feel stuck, feel unaligned, feel like they're going in circles, and they're trying to fit their business into a one size fits all mold. And well, as we know from, every pair of jeans we try on, that does not work. Even if it says it's the right size, usually it's not. So that's what we're focusing on today. And please like, follow, share the show. Go and check us out at justalivetv.com. Subscribe to our newsletter, click like, follow, and again, share, because sharing is caring. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to my guest co-host, Torie Dunn, and please introduce yourself.
Well, hello. I am Torie. As you guys have heard, we are launching our new business, and my title now, I will be honest, I'm going to share this with the world. Melissa helped me discover my new title from VA Virtual Support. I am now a media management specialist. Or I'm sorry, see, Melissa, help me out.
Torie is a media manager and strategist, because her years of being a VA and everything else that she's done has provided her the insights of what it's like to run a business, start to finish, in media, in social media, websites, and strategies. So media manager and strategist really worked for you. And that's why you and I sat down and we had that discussion. And during our discussions on what it's like to be a business owner, and, when we want to make changes, because I just did a rebrand, you're doing a rebrand, it got us thinking of what we were missing in the coaching industry.
Yes, for sure. And honestly, I wish that our company existed when I started my journey as an entrepreneur, for sure, because it seemed like I had so many different journeys to get to where I really was passionate about, where I really wanted to be. And I know it now that is so common, especially with women, because we're always trying to figure out, what fits with our family life and still being able to balance that. So we definitely want to be that support for women that are in those situations.
Absolutely. And not a lot of people understand that what we do, and this is why we're doing this episode today, and why we're launching our business today, is because we did experience that. You and I have experienced multiple different passions, multiple different career choices through our 30 plus years. And in the last 7 years of you and I being in business, oddly enough, both of us 7 years, in the last 7 years of you and I being in business, it has been one thing after another, all the changes, having to hire this business coach and that business coach, that strategist, somebody to teach us this, that, everything. And one of the main things that I noticed in my journey, sorry, I'm sharing while we're talking, and I know you don't.
Go ahead.
You're go please share. The more we share. I noticed my own journey and through us talking is that it was always every time, because I'm very multi-passionate. I now have 6 businesses, right? So in all those, or 5, I should say. Yes, 5. I just updated my signature. It looks great. So in my 5 businesses, I was always told, you have to do it this way, or you have to choose one, or you have to be this, or you have to be that. And it irritated the crap out of me because I didn't want to just do one. I didn't want to do it. you and I had a conversation with a couple new VAs the other day.
Yes.
And while I was talking to them and explaining to them what I wanted to accomplish in the next week or two on the show, and my other businesses, I had one of them try to tell me, well, why don't you combine them all? Like, you should really just be focusing on one thing and combining them all. And I stopped for a second and I said to myself, like, this person's new. They must have gotten training outside of Torie. They must have gotten training on, it has to be one way. It can't be always. It can't be all things. And I sat down to her and I said, my businesses are something you've never seen before. My businesses are all unique and different. I am an identity coach and I do identity coaching for high profile individuals, right? And I get into their mindset of why they're not happy, what's creating it, all of that. Mm-hmm. My spiritual teaching business is me turning around and saying, I was on my spiritual journey. And again, when I started my spiritual journey, it was, you have to choose this and you have to choose one way and you have to title yourself and I was like, no, I never conformed. I'm more so a non-conformist. I don't like having to follow certain rules and regulations, especially when it comes to my self-expression, my businesses, and the way that those show up, right? So when you and I had that discussion after, it was like, in a way, I was helping teach them in that moment. And I've always been drawn to business coaching, but it wasn't something that I wanted to specifically do, like, stand alone. But now realizing that I am multi-passionate and I am capable of running and owning 5 businesses, I wanted to teach people. I wanted to teach people to be able to express themselves through their business their way.
Right.
And that's where you and I created this episode.
Exactly. Yeah, you get, as we both have been on our journeys, you get the different strategists, coaches, mentors, and they're teaching all of their clients the same method. So they're pushing the same way on everyone. I haven't really ran into a business like this where it's truly going to be your way. We help you figure out what it is that you want, not what society say it should be, not what the strategists say it should be, not what the growth gurus say what it should be, but how do you see your business? And we find a way to make it exist in that way and work for you. So that definitely is going to take a lot of stress and strain, because who wants to be putting their all into something that they're really not happy with? You always know. We tell our kids all the time, when you have to do something, it's because you didn't really want to do it anyway. So when you're able to serve your passion fully, you can really go hard in what you want to do in your business. And that purpose is so much better than any other, in my opinion. Truly.
I completely agree. And now that I'm done sharing the crap out of this video,
you're fine.
I totally agree. And I think that you're right in what we teach our children is, it's okay to be multi-passionate. And exactly what you just said. When you're not happy with something, you do only half-ass it. Yeah. You're not putting what you really want to put into it. You're not being true to yourself. You're not being true to your expression in your business and in all of that. And it sucks because then you get into the circles, right? I'm not going to lie. For the first 5 years of my business, it was circles after circles. I changed my business name. I changed my business platform. I changed multiple things. I changed my titles, and I could never, if you're sitting there, and this is for any entrepreneur, any woman who wants to be in business, if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, if somebody asks you how you help people in your business and you can't answer that question, that says something. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're bad. You're questioning your own business. If you can't clearly identify what you do in your business, you're questioning it. And that's when you need to come to Torie and I. When you're questioning, whether or not your business is working, whether or not you're doing the right thing, whether or not you love your business, whether or not your business fits you, or if you're hearing crickets. Because trust me, sometimes when you're hearing crickets, it's the fact that you are half-assing it. It's that your messaging isn't clearly represented to your IDCs, your ideal clients. It's horrible. So going back to our topic today, enough of promoting ourselves. Going back to our topic today is, it is being hard as a woman in business. And especially when you have, you know, you and I are both wives, we're both mothers, we have multiple children, not all of them at home, but still multiple children.
Right. Yeah.
And like my husband the other day, he's like, well, why is this getting done? And I said, I'm busy. And he says, I understand you're busy, but you're letting go of other things. And I said, okay, if I wasn't home and I was working a 9 to 5, right? If I wasn't home and I was working a 9 to 5, what then? Would you still require me to do these things? Would you still ask me to do these things? Would you still, you know, get frustrated if these things aren't getting done because I wouldn't physically be at home, right? To me, I run my businesses like a 9 to 5. My hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., right? By that point, I'm done. Now, if I choose to do more work outside of that, fine, right? If I choose to work on weekends or in evenings, or if Torie and I need to meet, whatever that looks like, that's my choice, right? That's being multi-passionate and going, oh my goodness, I got a great idea, I need to go and do that. Right. And when you're multi-passionate, you know, when you get those ideas, you need to run with them immediately. Otherwise, they're just going to fly out the cuckoo's nest, right?
Yeah. You'll find somebody else doing that idea, you know? So when you're multi-passionate, jump on it and move forward seriously. Because I really, truly, I do that a lot. I do. Not so much a lot because it has benefited. So I don't want to send a confusing message, because multi-passionate is not a bad thing. Actually, it's great. For one, we're creating multiple streams of income. Yes, in the beginning, you are working your butt off. And I want to go back to the 9 to 5. I think a lot of us deal with that, you know, especially if you're working from home with your partners and your husbands. It's like, they know you're working, and the kids, let's not even talk about the kids. They know you're working, but you're still at home. So you're still able to do all these things that they would need you to do when you got off of work. Exactly. You're available anyway. So, and I tell my husband the same thing you told George, you know, if I worked outside of the home, would you still, you know, get upset sometimes if certain things wasn't done at a certain time? And not that he get upset, but, you know, they just expect us to be able to still cater to them constantly. Because for one, my husband is spoiled. I will say that. He'll get mad if he heard that, but he's spoiled. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm spoiled. But when I was working, he was good with not having that at that time of the day. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm available, it's the mindset, definitely, for sure. Because I'm still at work. Definitely still at work. It's because we're at home. Yeah. We're still at work. We're working harder.
Yep. My husband the other day, and I laughed. He turned around and he's like, he comes home and he's like whining because my husband's for the most part spoiled too, right? I've spent 10 years of our marriage focused on him. And so I'm sitting there and he comes home and he's like, you never call or text me anymore. Like none. Like you don't spend any, you don't contact me anymore. And I'm like, because I'm busy. And he's like, well, I know that, but, and he like gets all offended, right?
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And so I turned around and I'm like, I said, you know, you tell me that you're busy at work, right? You're working the 8 to 5. You're busy at work. You got clients coming in and out of the door, phones ringing off the hook. You know, you used to tell me, okay, only message me or only call me if it's an emergency. Otherwise, message me, right? And I'll get back to you when I can, right? So I call him or I message him and it's like, I'm busy. What do you want? Or, you know, there's no answer or whatever that looks like. And then now it's kind of like role reversal, right? And I'm like, so you're telling me not to contact you for like the last 10 years. Now that I'm not, you're complaining that I'm not? Like, it's double standard, right? And it's because they get so used to something, right? And I don't blame them. We're not bashing our partners or our husbands here. We're just complaining, you know what, the mentality changes, right? When you're creating a business and you're creating that space and that security and freedom for yourself, it's a little bit different when you're at home, right? It is a little bit different when you work from home. If I rented an office space and I went to that office space other than my house and bedroom, then it would be different because it would be like, you need to make money to pay for that space. You need to do this. You need to do that, right? But then nobody would be at home making those messes. So the messes that are getting left, right? If I have lunch, I had a piece of cake an hour before the show. I had a piece of cake. I made pineapple upside down cake last night. And I'm like, I need to have a piece of cake. So I go downstairs, I have a piece of cake. I'm spending time with my oldest. And I took the plate and I would have just put it on the counter because I was like, no, the dishwasher's full. I'm not dealing with it. Just put it on the counter. And I'll leave my dishes for the day. And then when I go to make dinner, I'll put my dishes away. Or like my children, my two youngest are 7 and 12, right? You have enough knowledge and enough willpower and enough mentality to do what you need to do throughout the day without me sitting on your behind going, did you empty your lunch kit? Did you clean up your dishes? Did you do your laundry and wipe your butt? Like what? I don't have to. They're 7 and 12. But my two would rather relax. They're like me. They'd rather relax and watch TV or scroll, you know, TikTok just to, you know, but then I get in trouble. I had to explain to my 12-year-old the other day. I said, I've asked you repeatedly today to do the dishes, right? You have a chore to do. And it's not even a chore. You are part of my household. And this is one of those tips that we're going to be giving you today, because we're going to be giving you different tips and techniques that we do as wives and mothers while we're going through being entrepreneurs in Winnipeg, women in business. One of those tips is I went up to my daughter the other day and I said, listen, I have a lot to do during it is, you know, you're old enough and responsible enough to be a part of this family. We taught our children, thankfully, to an old friend of mine who taught me this lesson. My children do chores not because I expect them to do things for me. It's because they eat, drink, sleep, and live in this house, right?
We're a team.
I'm not saying for free. They are a part of this family. We are a cohesive family unit. Everybody should have an active role and an active responsibility to take care of house and home.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So each of my daughters have chores. They each have a responsibility. My youngest daughter is feeding the cats, feeding the fish, and emptying all the garbages and cleaning her room. My oldest daughter is feeding the dog, letting him in and out, doing the cat litter and the dishes. Right. Everybody has a role and responsibility. And so if I've said, hey, you know what you need to do today, I need you to do this. And the other day I asked her multiple times to empty the dishwasher and clean up the kitchen. And she wouldn't do it. And she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. So finally, when I knew my husband was on the way home, because my husband's anal retentive and total clean freak, he comes home, and before he came home, I sat down and I said, I want you to understand that if you don't do what I've asked you to do, and I'm the lenient one, right? I'm kind of, my husband's more of the drill sergeant and I'm more of the meh, whatever. We combine those, right? And it works well.
It's a balance. Oh yeah.
Yep. And so I said, I'm not on your butt all day. I ask you to do something and I leave it alone, right? I give you the choice of when to do it, but I ask you to do it. Now, I expect it done before your dad gets home, because if your dad comes home and it's not done, then I hear about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not on your butt standing behind you going, you need to clean this, you need to do that, you need to do this. I'm not doing that because I don't have time to do that, especially not at 12 years old.
Right.
You need to get done, right? And it's so for mothers, especially in business, whether you are a single mom, whether you have a partner, whether or not you have children who are young, get them on sort of a routine, not like a full-blown routine, but get them on a routine where they're helping. They're cleaning up after themselves. They're, like start them early and say, hey, it's time to clean up. I don't know if anybody ever sang their kids the cleanup song, but I sure as hell did. I'm from Canada.
Oh, yeah.
We had the big comfy couch, right?
Oh, right. Right.
What was it? Clean up, everybody
clean up. Right? Yeah. I sing that with my grandchildren. So yes, I definitely feel everything you're saying. And right? It also helps them though, Melissa, not to cut you off. Like you said, start them early. It's teaching them to have responsibilities as they grow up. Get used to having responsibilities. So yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, that's exactly.
I agree. Because you think they're going to turn into adults.
Exactly.
Right? And if we show them, one, that they can be responsible adults, when they move out on their own, their roommate or their partner is not going to hate them because they don't do anything.
Right. Right.
And that's what I keep telling my 12-year-old. I'm like, you moved out today, you wouldn't last. Like, nobody wants to live with a slob. Like, I love you, but you're horrible. Right? And then, it's teaching them. Plus, as moms, especially moms in business, we're teaching our children to provide for themselves. I have a physical product side of my business. So I make heat therapy bags and crystal jewelry. And I'm not going to have as much time for those as I used to. So my 12-year-old, she's into crafting. And I said, you know what, if you actually took some initiative, and if I trusted her a little bit more, because right now we don't. I said, if I trusted you and you had more initiative right now, you could take those over and you could start making yourself money. You could start your own portion of business, right? And teaching them how to provide for themselves, how to make money early. You know what I mean? Half of us women in business create businesses based on our hobbies or our passions.
Mm-hmm.
Why not teach our children, right? So
exactly.
We're being role models for our children. We're being, partners and role models for our partners. If our partners decide to start their own businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a lot more. So there is a lot of pressure on women in business. A lot of pressure on business. Not only that, is media, society in Winnipeg and women in business. I always say Winnipeg. Women in business have a lot of pressure from society.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. But I'll tell you one thing. Now, I got a little tip, and it just came to mind today because your children are on social media already, right? And the kids is the ones that know the trends and things like that. Well, how good is that when you as a business owner, you need a social media manager? You know what I'm saying? I'm just this idea, you can actually put your children to work, not so much to work, but they can assist you in encouraging entrepreneurship in your children. You know what I mean? So if they're already, you don't have to train them much. A lot of times my kids is training me because of the trends and things. It's business owners, we have other things. Those are time consuming tasks, even though they are very well needed tasks. When you have so many things going on and you're the only one operating the business at the time, the social media tends to fall to the side. So why not let the kids who's on there doing God knows what, at least for one, you'll know what they're doing. So, I got the idea that my older kids, like, you're going to help me with my social media because I haven't had time to keep up on it for keeping up on other things in the business. So when you're focusing on your field of expertise, you got to kind of categorize what's more important. Not saying that, your social media is not important, but you do have to tend to your expertise to even be able to have a social media. But yeah, I was just saying that to say, why not make it easier on yourself and even save you a few coins? You don't have to actually pay a social media manager if you have
what's
children.
Trending? What's going on? My oldest, who's 19, he could teach me about Snapchat. He's on Snapchat all the time, right? My 12-year-old could teach me TikTok. My middle child, my second oldest, he could teach me YouTube, right? They all have different aspects. The youngest is Robux, right? Like, she's Robux and Cocomelon still. So we'll just leave her on that.
So good. Yeah.
But, she could teach me about being on camera. She loves being on camera. So she opened the door on one of our past episodes, and she opened the door and she noticed that I'm on camera. So she'll just stand there because she wants to be involved, right? Like, she just wants to be in there. Your kids have knowledge that we may not have. Absolutely. Your partners, involve your partners, even if they don't understand your business. Your partners have strengths too. My partner understands management. He understands business and how to run business and he's taken multiple businesses and made them. I always tell my husband that he needs to be a business analyst because he can go into a company, learn how it runs, and make it run better, right?
That's definitely a good skill to have.
Right? And completely turn it around. And he's personable, so he draws in clients. So my husband's amazing at client attraction, at business strategies like Torie, and so it works to involve him. He's like, I know nothing about your business. I said, but it's still a business. You might not understand the spirituality, you might not understand the coaching or whatever I'm doing, but it's still a business.
A business, yes, for sure.
And he knows business. Right? If you have a partner that's in, numbers, have them do your accounting, right? If you, involve your family. And I'm not saying let them take control or give them little tasks here and there. You can delegate out, right? Multi-passionate women, getting back to another topic on multi-passionate women, is picking and choosing. You don't have to pick and choose, right? If you're a woman and you're multi-passionate, you have multiple passions, right? If you've got multiple kids, you love and are passionate about all those kids at different times for different reasons, right? Look at Torie and I. I have 5 businesses, right? And they all serve a different purpose. So at the beginning of the episode, I told you about the identity coaching. I told you about the spiritual teaching. Torie and I both told you about the business mentoring, but we haven't told you about the other 2. Well, you know about the show. So you know about the show. But number 5, and this is something Torie and I are doing together, is women supporting women. We created not a business, but a movement, right? It has its own website. It has its own Facebook page. It's going to have its own podcast. We created a movement, Women Supporting Women, and it is all about just giving authority, accountability, friendship, non-judgment. It is building a community of inclusivity and love, and a place where you can go in and vent about your kids, vent about your partners, judgment-free, right? You can go in and say, I'm having a stressful day. How do I need help? So multi-passionate, we are helping through the movement, right? We are helping people through the movement. And eventually we'll have sponsorships for the movement. So not sponsorships, but donations for the movement. And then all of those donations will go to a charity to pay people to work. We'll have volunteers for the movement. We'll have the movement come to different provinces and states in the US and Canada, because we're, US and Canada, and just create a worldwide movement of women supporting women, because we don't have that enough, right? That goes hand in hand with being multi-passionate. We're able to give to the movement. We're able to give our knowledge to the business mentoring, right? Because we've both been in years of business.
Yes.
And then whatever we do in the background, right? You are media management and strategy, right? That's your forte. So in that company, you're doing media management.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I always say, Melissa, we're superheroes. I say we're superheroes. I'm sorry. Well, I say when women is balancing their family and running their businesses, I say they superheroes, but I have to find a name for multi-passionate women. And then women like you running multiple businesses and still able to balance your family and still stay on track with everything. That's just an example of it's not impossible, and that's what women supporting women is about. Having those examples for other women, they may think that something like that, their own goals aren't reachable. Like I'm excited about the movement, honestly.
Yep. And multi-passionate women, another thing that we struggle with is just having those multiple avenues. So, and I'll use myself as an example, I usually do, is I have 5 businesses. I can get absolutely overwhelmed with all 5 of those businesses. And I do sometimes. I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball last week, right? And you can, and it's okay. That's the women supporting women, right? It is okay to drop the ball sometimes. It's when you pick yourself back up and say, I got this. And that's what I had to do. Now,
today, I'm sharing now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. With the 5 businesses, right? I had to figure out how each one of those businesses worked for me. When you're multi-passionate, not every one of those businesses is going to be run the same. Not every one of them is going to be, so most of us, I don't know, I'm in my 30s. Most of us have watched the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, right? This one pair of jeans that all of these women miraculously fit in, right? And I'm going to shamelessly promote, this is why we created T&M Mentoring, is because when you are a specific size, right, and you go to the store and you say, I want to buy a pair of jeans, you'll go and you'll try on multiple pairs of jeans, right? Businesses, and I'm using the multiple jeans as a business. So business and jeans just are the same thing, metaphor. You're trying on all these different jeans. You can try on the most beautiful pair of jeans in your size, but maybe the butt's too small. Maybe the legs are too big, right? I always have a problem with my waist is too big, my legs are too skinny, and I don't have an ass really, so I don't fit in most pants. So I'm a leggings girl because one size, generally fits all unless they're season. But you don't get that with jeans, right? Business is the same way. Business is not going to be one size fits all. And when you're multi-passionate and you're running around in those circles, you will go and you'll look for a business coach, you'll look for a mentor, you'll look for somebody to help you create your ideal business. But they're going to try to teach you how to create your ideal business from their mold. And that doesn't work. And see, that's where Torie and I came in differently. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do this episode is because when you try to fit yourself into somebody else's mold, it's going to get moldy very quick. You're going to hear crickets. You're not going to be happy in your business. You're not going to get to the level that you want to get to. It's going to become stale and stagnant because you're trying to fit in somebody else's jeans. And that doesn't work. Right?
Not at all.
So as multi-passionate businesses, not only is your business not going to work for somebody else, or their business model is not going to work for you, I can tell you from experience, having 5 businesses, none of my businesses are the same. None of them are positioned the same. None of them have the same passion or meaning, but all of them do different things. So identity coaching, 90% of my practice as identity coaching is one-on-one, because that's what works for me and that's what works for my clients. My spiritual teaching, 95% of that is through courses, right? With the show, it's live stream, right? It's live stream, it's a blog, it's the podcast. Nobody is doing a show like mine. Nobody is doing anything like Just Alive. Nobody. And I love it, right? It's mine. It's unique.
Yes.
Now, women supporting women. I wanted something that would be online, didn't cost any money, and it was free because I want women to support women, right? I wanted women to support women in a way that wasn't happening. And that's what I've created, right? With T&M Business Mentors, we are going to have our signature group coaching practice, right? Where we have a bunch of women come in, we work with them in a group setting to create their business for them.
For them, yes.
Right? Their way. We're not teaching you our mold. We're teaching you or helping you figure out what your mold is with our knowledge and mindset, our knowledge in business, and our knowledge and strategy. Right? Yes. And that's something nobody is doing. Nobody is doing all
not at all.
And to have 2 for 1, that's I'm not trying to promote T&M. I'm not trying to promote. What I'm trying to promote is that your business needs to be your way. You can't base it on what somebody else is doing, right? If you base your entire business on one person's way and it's not yours, you're only going to reach so far.
Oh, yeah.
Right? When you say, oh, I like this model and I'm going to use this model for a little bit. And then, in a year or two, when your business doesn't feel right, you're going to struggle to rebrand. Where I can rebrand at any point in time and people will come because I know what works for me, right? I know what works for my audience. And that's what you need. You need to be able to dig into yourself, your business mindset, your business passion. Multi-passionate women should and will be allowed and empowered to create whatever you need. Because your business, what you want to do in your business and what you need from your business is not going to be the same as mine. I want to be the next Oprah, right? I want to be the next Oprah. I want to be the next Tony Robbins. I want to be the next big movement person with women supporting women. I'm going to get there because that's my vision. Yes. That's my goal, right?
Yes, for sure. But, yes.
Torie's vision is different than mine.
And it's okay to have individuality and be unique. But it's hard to find that when you're, I'm not bashing anyone. I'm just saying when you're using mentors and you're using other coaches and things like that, that isn't looking at it like that. They're actually creating the businesses because they're giving you the strategies, not your strategy. So you and whoever else their client may be, you all guys have the same strategy, the same style business, when your goal has always been to have something that was yours, unique or individual. And like I said, I'm not bashing anyone, but that is truly the gift that we need as business owners, is someone that is really willing to work with us to help us find what is ours, not what society think is ours or whatnot, so that we can truly do what we want to do. And the women's support and women movement is also what's going to help in that support, because I can already see people speaking up, and because they didn't speak up before because they didn't know if people really felt that way. But when you find people that can relate, it really gives you the freedom to actually, exhale. Okay, so I'm not the only one that feel like this. And then we get more people on board, and that's where the support come in at, Yep. I'm going to say that again. I'm excited about women supporting women. Truly, I am. And especially the community, the Facebook group. It's growing. It truly is growing, but I know it's going to grow much bigger, especially when that, the purpose is in there that this is a safe place for you. Not saying everybody needs therapy because everybody's not having an issue, but even when you want to share your wins, sometimes you just want somebody to celebrate with
Absolutely.
you, they'll appreciate it. I'm
Yep.
sure we all as women sometimes feel underappreciated, even though it may not be that intentionally, but we do a lot. And I'm not saying men don't do anything, but we do a lot. Shoot, childbirth is enough, but no, we do a lot because we still are balancing our families and running our businesses.
And I'm not saying men and women are completely different because we're not. Men have just as much emotion as women, but women more so work from an emotional brain, right?
Yes.
Women tend to work from a very emotional place. I was having this discussion with my sons. Women work from a very emotional place. And men don't see that. They don't understand that, right? If another woman came up to you and said some derogatory comment to you, right? You'd be like, oh, my goodness, like, did you what? Right? So you're either going to cry, you're going to scream, you're going to punch that girl in the face, whatever.
One
right?
or the other, right?
Where men, my husband, I don't know how many times my husband's told me, he said, somebody walked up to me and said something to me, I'd be like, okay, bye. And he'd just walk away, right? Like he just wouldn't care. And
you don't care.
Women are very much coming from an emotional space, especially, very, I don't even know how to finish that, but women do work from a very emotional place. Our businesses are emotional. Our everyday lives are emotional. Our relationships, our families, it's all coming from an emotional place, right?
Yeah.
And women are taught that. It is something we are taught to and something we conform to.
Yes.
We want acceptance. We want love. We want security. We want safety. We want support. And so little words here and there of appreciation, of support, of building each other up and saying, that's awesome. I love that. Or, when you're having a bad day, say, I feel you. What do you need? Right? Do you need a virtual hug? Do you need, do you need to talk? Do you need to vent? Like, what do you need today? That's what women supporting women is all about. And
or just going and letting them know how tired you are, Melissa, from being that carry everything. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm tired. Please forgive me. But when you're multi-passionate, like, at least for me, I can't go to sleep until all my stuff is in order, especially when I got ideas. And that's how it's been for me for the last couple of days, because I just get motivated. But now it's like, okay, the juice is starting to wear down, but I still got to, guess what? Cook dinner. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just thought about that when you were talking about the support in the group and giving the examples, just simple examples like that, just to say, guys, I'm exhausted,
and how many women are going to come up on that and go, yes, I know that.
Right.
Not only that, the group Women Supporting Women is unlike any other group because there is no promotion in that group. We don't even promote that. We share the show. We share, memes and stuff like that. There is no promotion in that group because we wanted it a safe space where you can vent and be yourself without being, hey, come work with me or whatever.
Right.
Social media is abundant in that. For women in business, and the group itself is for women of all races, all colors, all ages, all of it, right?
Everything, yes.
Be a mom, not be a mom. You can be a wife, not be a wife. It doesn't matter, right? That's an all-inclusive group for women.
Mm-hmm.
But in that group, you can post, that you're struggling in business. And if somebody like Torie and I go in there and say, you know what, hey, maybe this could work. We're not going to do it all the time because that is our business to do the business mentoring. But if we can give you tips and tricks, we're going to be in there doing that. That group is for entrepreneurs, for mothers, for wives, for sisters, daughters, girlfriends, whatever, right? Whatever you got.
Yes.
And that's why we created that group. And being a multi-passionate entrepreneur, we support that in the group. We encourage that in the group, because as women, when we are so emotionally charged and we run off of those emotions, we are multi-passionate. We're passionate about our kids. We're passionate about our partners. We're passionate about our businesses and our goals and, the things that we follow online. You and I are exceptionally passionate about supporting women. So we show that in everything that we do, right? In multiple ways. I don't think there is a woman in this world who is not multi-passionate.
No, I don't think so either, even if they haven't recognized it, because we've been groomed from birth, for certain things to take on and just be caregivers and serve. So it's just normal to a lot of women, they don't really put a title on it because it's normal. Every woman I know is multi-passionate without them even recognizing it. Seriously. So,
before we go, multi-passionate entrepreneurs, that's if you have a hobby, if you have something that you're good at, if your passion is just helping people, if your passionate is teaching, if it's coaching, if it's, making jewelry or making heat therapy bags, whatever your passion is, it is okay to have multiples. And that's what we really wanted to highlight on this show. Is being multi-passionate doesn't mean that you need to be overwhelmed. It does not mean that you need to be stuck. And it does not mean that you have to try to fit that multi-passionate in somebody else's mold, because that doesn't work. We wanted to highlight, most importantly, is that your business needs to be an expression of who you are, an expression of what you're passionate about. It needs to fit you. And when you're a multi-passionate entrepreneur, add on being a wife or a mother to that, you have multiple responsibilities. So when you create a business so what we do, and I'm going to promo on now because we're almost on the show. I'm going to promo what we do on this. Okay. And you can take it even as just tips. Okay. I'm going to give you our tips. Number one, understand that your business is a part of you, right? So you need to get into your business mindset and say, what am I passionate about? What do I want to, what do I want to do? And what does that look like for me? And when you get into that, you have to ask that, for me, what strategies do you want to be on, right? What strategies do you want to use? When you want to make sure that you're not taking away time from your family, taking away time from yourself or your partner or your kids, you want to be able to take a vacation down the road, whatever that looks like to you. Torie and I help you build a business that incorporates all of that so that you're not sacrificing or settling for what you don't want, right? That's the key to being a multi-passionate entrepreneur, is not sacrificing and not settling for what you don't want, because that doesn't work. That will lead you in that vicious cycle of coach after coach after coach after trainer after mentor after guru, because none of their ways work for you. What we do is we help you create an entire business with strategies, mindset, client perspective, all of that. And we help you create that for your lifestyle, not for theirs.
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely. 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 Yes. Listen, do not be ashamed. Don't hide it. You're multi-passionate. You're multi-passionate. That's really the uniqueness of it. And it's actually a solution to help you fulfill what you really want to do, truly. You don't have to sacrifice anything, like Melissa was saying. So, like I said, multi-passionate, honestly, Melissa, I'm going to share this, I didn't even realize. So, ladies, if you didn't realize it until you start watching this show. I didn't even realize until Melissa told me one day. She said, you know what? I know I'm multi-passionate. And it just made so much sense. And it's like women supporting women. It takes somebody else to really bring some things to clarity for you to be like, oh, darn, well, is that what that is? Because that's what I'm like too. So like I said, any woman I know is like that. They're doing so many different things, and especially if they're a mom. And again, you don't have to be a mom for women supporting women or to be multi-passionate, but I'm just, because that's what I am, that's what I highlighted on. But it's so many different ways that you can identify as being multi-passionate, if that makes sense.
Yep. And if your business, as an entrepreneur, if your business isn't working for you, if you're feeling stuck, if you're going in circles, if you're hearing crickets, honestly, reach out to T&M Business Mentors, because we have, because it's our business and I can shamelessly promote. Our business has social media audits. It has niche audits. So we're making sure that you're doing what you want to do in your niche, that you're in the right niche for you, and that you're talking to your right audience, right? We have business audits where we go through the whole thing. We are coming out very soon with our signature program where we take you from the A to Z on your entire business, start to finish. What do you want to create? What are you looking at? How to do it? All of that. We're going to help you with all the strategies, all the systems, and especially the mindset of it, because that's my part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the most important part.
Whole mindset to be on. Yep.
Yeah.
Not only,
and we're helping you identify how your client sees you as well, because that's also important, how your clients are seeing you, you know? So we're definitely, it's a one-stop shop, guys. And I'm not trying to promote, but I really wish a program like this existed when I first got into business. I can't even express it, because it may sound like I'm promoting, but I can't express it. Like, this is a big thing, guys. Because it's not, you don't have to go to so many different people and take so many different courses. One-stop shop. And I'm done. I'm sorry. But, I'm just excited about it.
It is, because it's what works for you, right? It's management, social media management, business strategies, business mindset, client mindset. See, that's why it's one stop, right? And that's why it's 2 for 1, because you have the social media management, you have the business strategies, right? I have business strategies for running multiple businesses. I have multiple mindset of business, because 1, I'm a mindset expert. 2, I've been in business for 6 years, and I've been where you're at. It's one of the reasons we created this program, because I've been there, done that. And honestly, when I finally got into my own head, instead of thinking all about what my clients wanted, I started thinking about what I wanted. Everything changed. Everything changed. And I'm now a multi-passionate business owner of 5 businesses. So, and it's going great.
And it's working
great. And that's what we're trying to create with T&M Business Mentors. Anyway, any last minute things you'd like to add for our audience?
No, not at all. Not at all. Hey, just embrace being multi-passionate, guys. For real. There's nothing wrong with it. Seriously. Yeah. Women supporting women. Remember that movement. Now, I do want to say that, because that is definitely a group, non-promotion, anything, just a think tank. Drop your thoughts off. You make new relationships as far as friendships. We're trying to build that community as like a family. You didn't adopted another family, somebody you can depend on. Only this time you get to pick and choose your family.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just a family, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. This episode has been sponsored by T&M Business Mentors, and that would be Torie and Melissa. And we are creating space and helping multi-passionate women create businesses that suit their lifestyle, their genes, and their clients. So check us out. Right now, we are currently offering social media audits, niche audits, and business audits. You can check those out on the website, link in the description. It is tandmmentors.com, and connect with us. And if you would like to connect with Torie and I outside of that business on our own, you absolutely can. Our links are in the description. as well as please sign up for our newsletter for the show, justalivetv.com. You can watch the show now straight off the website. You can find us on multiple social media platforms. So please go like and share and follow and show the show some love. So lots of love, Just a Family. I will see you again. Thank you so much, Torie, for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Sorry, I was a little tired. I apologize, but thank you for having me.
No apology necessary. No apology necessary. Women supporting women. We are okay and allowed to be tired. So
you're right.
Lots of love, Just a Family. I will see you on the next episode.